Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. And I guess a holiday kind of puts a little wrinkle in everybody's week. So I'm glad you could join me today. Today, I want to talk about certainly any questions or problems that you're having. I would love to be able to help you with anything. But also, I want to focus on something that I have had actually 3 different clients have a problem with this lately, and that's Facebook ads and the new issues and problems that we're all running into since the iOS 14 update. Just to briefly recap, in case you haven't been inundated enough already, the iOS 14 update is an update on Apple devices. iOS is the operating system for Apple devices like iPhones, iPads, iPods, and any Apple device that uses an iOS operating system. And what Apple did is, because they have made client and customer privacy the main thrust of their delivery to their client base, they put into effect a situation where when you updated your device with iOS 14, it turned on the capability for you as an iPhone user to say, I don't want to be tracked. So every time you open the Facebook app on your phone or your iPad after you install the iOS 14 update, you would get a question. Do you want to allow, it would say this app is tracking your personal information, not only in this app, but across other apps, and it's sharing your personal information. Do you want to allow this? And I'm guessing that probably 95 to 99% of Apple users said, oh, heck no, and chose not to be tracked. And then the iOS 14.5, in other words, the 5th update, if you will, of the iOS 14 OS, they made it be on automatically. It used to be that the user got to choose whether they wanted to be tracked or not. And then when the .5 update was released, that don't track me feature the default was on. So you can be pretty sure that most of your intended audience that uses iOS and Apple devices is not being tracked. Now, that is not the end of the world from the point of view that those people are still going to see your ad. They're still going to click on it. They're still going to download your lead magnet. They're still going to book a consult or buy your course or your book or whatever you're selling. The problem is just that activity won't be reported back to Facebook, because remember, you put your pixel on your funnel page, your web page, wherever you want to know what people are doing and be able to track the results of your Facebook ad. Your Facebook pixel is the mechanism. The analogy I always use is, if you picture a big spaceship coming into the world, that would be Facebook. And then if you picture a little tiny spaceship that's going out into the universe around the planets and the people, that's your pixel. And your pixel is wherever you want to know where people go and what action they took. So right now, as a result of Apple users choosing not to be tracked, and I have to confess, the first time I chose to be tracked because I knew what it was and what it was doing, and I wanted to do my part. But I guess me and 6 other people who chose that isn't really making a big indent. So when the 14.5 update came and it was turned on automatically, I didn't go back and turn it off. So I am no longer being tracked either. The point I want to make here, though, is people on Android devices and desktop computers are being tracked. So when you go to your Facebook ads dashboard, you're going to see the results of how many people clicked. You're going to see cost per click, cost per result, click-through rate, and all those different statistics that we have been taught to use as our feedback to whether our ad is working or not and whether we need to tweak it or not. And now the problem is, for instance, let's say that it's a lead magnet, it's an ad for a lead magnet. And people click on the ad on Facebook, they go over to your funnel, they put in their email and their name, and they click, send me my PDF, and they get the PDF. Well, now, if you look at the Facebook ads dashboard, the only people you're going to see as having taken that action are the Android users and the desktop users. And if the statistics that I know from a couple of years ago are still true, there's a very, very big proportion of cell phones that are iPhones. So there's therefore the fact that Android users are probably not even 50% of mobile device users. That means that more than 50% of mobile device users' activity is not showing up in your dashboard. So when you see cost per click, let's just make the numbers easy. Let's just say that you spent $100 and Facebook is showing that you got 10 people that clicked and downloaded your lead magnet and they show up as a lead. That just means that 10 people on Androids or desktops downloaded your lead magnet. So in this example, you spent $100. The dashboard is telling you 10 people downloaded your lead magnet. It looks like it costs you $10 per lead. And because those are the only numbers that Apple has, that Facebook has, that's all they can show you. To get your true statistics, you need to go, for instance, if your funnel is in ClickFunnels, you would go to that funnel in ClickFunnels and look in there and see how many people clicked and downloaded your lead magnet. And let's say that number was 20. Let's say that because there was the 10 that were the Android and the desktop users, but there were another 10 Apple users that actually did download your lead magnet, but Facebook didn't know. So in that case, what that means is your cost per click or cost per lead was really $5 because you spent $100 and there were 10 that were reported on the dashboard, but there were another 10 that were included where they actually downloaded your lead magnet. So that means you got 20 leads for $100. So it only costs you $5 per lead. So that's the impact of what this is all doing as far as your results for your ads. But let's take one step further back and let's look at what it means to you when you are creating your Facebook ad and if you're running a Facebook ad. Because of some requirements that are now necessary, you're going to find that many times your ads will if you're already running them and you haven't done these things, Facebook will pause your ads and stop running them. Now, the good news is they're not going to continue to charge you any money because they're not running the ads. But the bad news is they're not running the ads, so you're not getting any traffic at all. So the way to fix that is to go into your Facebook Business Manager, your Facebook Ads Manager, your Pixel, and your events, and take care of some things that didn't used to be required. The main things that people are falling into the problem of is, for one, you have to verify your domain, the domain that you have connected to your Facebook business page that is also connected to your Facebook Business Manager. You have to verify that that's yours. So you have to put code into your domain that says to Facebook, you are authorized to use this domain because you own it. Now, I have had several different situations, and just recently a client is using Lead Pages. And even when they have a domain, like a custom domain connected to their lead pages, it was still erroring out because on the back end, it was showing as their funnel was in leadpages.com or lpages.co, and they can't personally go in and update that domain. Now, there are other ways to do that, which we are actually going to take care of that later today. But that's just another example of the complications that didn't used to be there. If you're going to verify your own domain, that's easier than some other problems, but you still have to know how to log into wherever your domain is hosted. You have to create a TXT DNS record. You have to then, verify it inside of Facebook. Then you have to add domains to a domain traffic allow list, which didn't used to be a thing, and now it's required. And then also there's another problem. Well, it's not a problem, it's just another requirement that used to be that you could just have your pixel wherever you wanted it. And for the pixel that was a lead, you would just put that pixel code on the thank you page after the lead magnet download. If it was a consult that was scheduled, you would put that scheduled pixel on the thank you page for scheduling the consult. And if it was a purchase, you would put the purchase pixel code on the order confirmation page, and all of those pixels would report back to Facebook and they would show up on your dashboard. Well, now, because of what's happening, and they're only getting roughly, I think it's a little bit more than half they're probably getting of actual results, but it might not be. So now they've come up with a new algorithm Facebook Ads Manager has, and it's called aggregated events measurement. And it's another one of their algorithms, and I have not seen the code, so I'm not positive exactly how it works. But what I understand is what it's doing is it's taking the events that you are reporting on your pixel. It's looking at the results from Android and desktop users, and then it's aggregating the results to measure the success of the pixels. Now, that just sounds like a lot of tech gobbledygook to me, and I'm technical, so I really don't know for sure what it does. But the point is, it doesn't matter what it does. It won't run your ad if you put your events in there. So in there, we as consultants, coaches, instructors, teachers, we don't have there's some event pixels for put something in the shopping cart, abandoned the shopping cart, started the checkout, didn't finish the checkout. There's a whole bunch of pixel code events that can be tracked if you're doing an e-commerce site. But for us, really, the main ones are going to be a lead, a purchase, schedule a consult, or register for an event such as a webinar. So we would add those four events into our pixel in the aggregated events measurement. And here's, of course, that can't just be all there is to it. It is one more layer of complication in that you now have to prioritize them. And you would think in the normal world that the top priority would be the one that you get to first. Or actually, I guess I wouldn't think of it that way. I guess I never thought of it in terms of priority. But the point is, when you put the aggregated events in there and you list lead, purchase, schedule, register, you have to put them in reverse importance priority, because this aggregated events measurement algorithm, whatever it is, it will stop this particular pixel of activity from tracking when it gets to the first thing in your priority list that matches. So in other words, if you have a lead pixel because someone's going to give you their name and their email, and you're going to give them a PDF, when you roll to that thank you page saying thank you for downloading, the pixel on that page is sending lead as the action, the event that just occurred. Now, if you put lead as the highest priority, that means that this pixel event tracking is over. It hit the most important one and it's going to stop looking. So let's just say that thank you page from them downloading your lead magnet also has a nice little video suggesting that they book a consult with you. Now, if they do book the consult with you, they click on that page, they go to your booking page, they roll to the thank you page for booking the consult. And on that consult thank you page, you have the pixel schedule. Okay, so that was one of our four. So you would think that would also show up. But if you don't have it prioritized correctly, it won't. If you have lead as the most important and it already got the lead, it stops looking. So in order for it to work the way it always used to work and the way we expect it to work, you have to reverse the priority. You have to put the most important, which is usually the last. So in other words, in my scenario so far, you had a lead magnet, book a consult, and when you roll to the consult thank you page, you might try to sell a product. Maybe it's a small product, maybe it's a book, maybe it's something, it's probably not a $2,000 course, but it's something that is a purchase. And of course, we always want our purchases to be reported back to the Facebook Ads dashboard because we want to find out how successful our ad was in getting us to have purchases take place. So to make this work, we have to put purchase as the highest priority. And then the way I do it, I do purchases first, then I do schedule. I think I do schedule a consult next, then register a webinar or register an event, and then lead is the least important. So then in this scenario that I just described, if you have only a lead magnet and you don't have a purchase, you don't have a register, and you don't have a schedule, when this pixel fires, it's going to come into your aggregated events and it's going to go, is it a purchase? Nope. So it's going to keep going. Is it a register? Nope. It's going to keep going. Is it a scheduled consult? Nope. So it keeps going. Is it a lead? Yes, it is. So then it stops. So that's the reason why if you put lead at the top and you still have other things happening in your funnel, you're not going to find out the pixel isn't even going to report because it's going to stop looking when it gets to the first one. And if you put lead as the highest priority, it's going to stop right there. Again, that doesn't mean they're not going to register. They're not going to schedule a consult. They're not going to purchase. All that activity will still happen just like it would have. You just won't see it in your pixel data and the ads manager, the ad dashboard, when you see the results. So this is kind of one of those things that it seems like we should be able to say, kind of like COVID, we'll get through this. And when we get on the other side, everything will be back to normal. This isn't going to go back to normal. This is the new normal. And Facebook is working on different ways for them to algorithmically extrapolate data based on Android users and based on desktop users. From what I understand, they have got, as you can imagine, a humongous mountain of data from the last 15 years or however many years it's been. So they know just by what the data they already have, what the percentages of Android users, what the percentages of iOS users and desktop users. So they know those numbers. So the way I understand it, they are in the process of taking that historical data that does tell them, well, if the total, if Android users had this much historically, Apple users had this much, not in numbers, but in percentages. So they are building an algorithm that's going to take the current data that's available that does not have the iOS users data, and they're going to extrapolate from the data they do have with the Android users and the desktop users, and they're going to extrapolate what the most likely numbers for Apple users would be. But it is a guesstimate. It is not an actual count, but it is going to be able to give us better data than we see right now. But for the short term, what you need to do in order to have your actual Facebook ads data make sense so that you can evaluate whether you need to tweak something or if it's doing really good, throw more money at it, is you have to set up a spreadsheet yourself that looks like the Facebook ads dashboard with each of the columns, the number of clicks, the click-through rate, the number of clicks, number of leads, number of purchases, all those things. And you're not really going to know specifically the clicks, but you know that if somebody got to your lead magnet funnel, they had to click. So that counts as a click, the fact that they even got there. So all of those final total numbers are not going to be in your ads dashboard. The important number that you need from the ads dashboard is the amount of money spent. So you do have to get that from the ads manager. But all the rest of the data is going to be somewhere else. The number of people who clicked, the number of people who downloaded, who registered, who scheduled, who purchased, that's going to be wherever you have your funnel. I use ClickFunnels. Some people use FG funnels, lead pages, Kajabi, all the different places where you might have your landing pages with your booking pages and things like that. So it makes our job even harder. We needed one more hard thing to do, right? So now we have to manually do that data. So I am hoping that somebody in the near future will develop an app. For instance, let's say someone, some really smart ClickFunnels guru kind of a person. Imagine if they created a spreadsheet type of a app that would pull the actual data from ClickFunnels into that spreadsheet app, and then pull the money spent from the Facebook ad. Or even if they couldn't pull it from the Facebook ad, if all you had to do as a business owner was type in the one number, what you spent, and this little magic app that hasn't been invented yet could pull all the information from your ClickFunnels, your Kajabi, wherever you have your landing pages, and just make that spreadsheet for you, that would be great. And whoever invents that will probably be a millionaire. But in the meantime, it doesn't exist and we have to do it ourselves. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes and have that conversation with you guys, because it has come up with 3 different clients of mine just in the last week, and it was a short week with a holiday. So it's something that's bothering people. And what I've seen with some of my clients who are in the point in their business where they're actually just getting ready to launch. So 2 of the 3 clients have already run ads in the past, like last year. One of the clients, this is their first ad, and it's just such a it's a really distressing situation, because most of the training that you find for Facebook ads the training was created last year. So it doesn't even address all of these things that are happening. And of course, this is not strictly iOS 14 related, but Facebook does change the user interface quite regularly. They, just for the fun of it, or just because they think it's better, or whatever reason they're doing it. So there's 2 problems. If you're watching Facebook ads training from last year, it doesn't have any of this aggregated event stuff. It doesn't have verify your domain. It doesn't have domain traffic allow lists. It doesn't tell you that the results you see in the dashboard aren't right. So all of that training that was created back then is now wrong, first of all, but even add insult to injury, the screens don't even look the same. So the training that you're watching, they might say, okay, and then you go to this page and you click on the blue thing in the top right. Well, now you get to that page and there's no blue thing in the top right. And in fact, that page isn't even called the same thing as it used to be. And so people who are brand new, they really just don't know where to go with it. So it's making an already difficult process. Doing Facebook ads was always a little bit difficult, and now it's even more difficult. And one last comment I'm going to make about that. You're going to find recently, it started for me back during the US election last year. I had 2 Facebook ad accounts that I was using. Both of them were suspended or deactivated, whatever the nasty word is that they use, for going against, I think it was community standards. They didn't say, what was funny is I wasn't running any ads at the time. So I have no idea what it was. And 2 of my accounts were both shut down. So luckily I have 2 other, of course I do. I have 2 other businesses and domain type things. So I just made a new business account and a new ads manager account. And now I'm being extremely, extremely careful, because one of the problems of depending on Facebook and Facebook ads is if Facebook shuts you down, you lose all of that data. Now, I never ran a lot of Facebook ads anyway, so I didn't really lose that much. But one thing it made me think of, and I want to tell you all, is Facebook can not only shut down your ads account, they can shut down your personal account. They can just suspend you as a user on Facebook. And if they do that, and you've got all of your information, for instance, let's say you've got a lot of your contacts in Facebook Messenger or in your Facebook group, and you don't have their email or you don't have another way to get in touch with them, you're very vulnerable if Facebook decides to shut your personal account down because of some phantom violation that they don't tell you what it is, but they could do that. And if they do that, what are you going to do? If that's where all of your customer and prospect information is, you will be starting over. So that's why it is so important to either using Facebook ads to get email addresses. But if you have people in your Facebook group, you don't need a Facebook ad to get their email addresses. I find that if you're going to ask people for their email address when they join your Facebook group, it's best to not just say, what's your email address? Because we all know that anybody we give our email address to is going to send us email. And I don't know about you, but my email, I literally get over 100 emails a day from other coaches and other programs, just things that I've expressed interest in over the years. They overdo it. So my inbox is inundated. So I think part of it, when you ask someone to put their email address in, when they ask to join your group, many people don't do it because they don't want to be spam emailed. So what I have heard works, and I think my next group, I will probably do this, is when they sign up for the group, offer them a free download as a part of joining the group. And in order to get that download, they have to give you their email address, as they have to answer that question when they join your group. The other way around this would be in your group or on your personal profile is you can run posts that have links in them that go out to some place where they can download a PDF or a template or a cheat sheet or a script or something like that, and ask for their email address in order to be able to download that. So that's two different ways that you can actually get some email addresses from the people that you are involved with on Facebook, so that, God forbid, if Facebook ever does shut you down, you at least have some, if not most of those people in your own database so that you could still continue to work with them. And if you don't do that and you get shut down, you're starting over with zero. So please take that to heart and start getting email addresses, so that if you lose your Facebook profile, or if you lose your Facebook ad account or your business manager account, you're not losing everything. Okay, so I'm thinking next week we are going to be, I'm having another challenge. This one's going to be an easy automation challenge. Last month we did the challenge with the full-blown campaign builder in Keep, and it was fun, and people who use Infusionsoft already got a lot out of it. People who were brand new to automation were a little overwhelmed. So this month I'm doing an easy automation challenge, and what we're going to do is use the Keep Pro. They have an easy automation group of automations, and then they have the advanced automations. And the advanced automations are the same as the Infusionsoft campaign builder, and that's what we did in June. Now in July, we're going to use the other automations, the easy automations. And this will be much better for people who are just starting to use automation at all. And I think it'll be very, very valuable. And if you already have an email list with names on it that maybe you haven't reached out to them in a long time, and it's more of a stagnant or cool or cold list, we're going to build an automation to re-engage that list and have them become more of a warm audience. So if you don't have automation all figured out yet, please join me next week. It's going to be 3 days for about an hour a day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week, 14th, 15th, and 16th of July at 10 a.m. Pacific, just the same time as this live was today. And that's what we're going to be doing next week instead of our regularly scheduled live. But please let me know in the group if there's a subject that you would like to see the following week as a live. I'd be happy to take your advice and your requests. All right, so I am so glad that you guys were able to pop in, and I will see you all next week, hopefully at the 3-day challenge. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.